Good morning! From my smartphone to yours, I'm Caston Love, here from the Sirius Joy Garden Studios in Costa Mesa, California. This is your Tuesday Namaste Today. Are you tired of being codependent? Have you ever wondered why you're always cheating? Why do you have to always mother everyone you date? I understand. The biggest problem usually is people choose the wrong person. Are you ready to find out the truth? Yes. In just one video, you'll understand what you're looking for in love and what you offer. You send us your date of birth, we send you a custom video that's all about you. We call it Secrets of Birthdays, the Love and Lust Report. Find out your birthday secrets today, available online at secretsofbirthdays.com. Good morning and namaste, and welcome to Namaste Today. I'm your host and spiritual life coach, Christopher Witecki. My modality is psychic astrology, and my mission is to stand in my heart and help other people stand in theirs. This webisode is for Tuesday, March 29th, 2016, and today the Great Human Walk has reached the Grand Master, stepº9, Aries. Hello, friends. Thank you so much for logging in. Such a pleasure to be a part of your life and co-create with you. Today might be an aggressive day. Step 9 Aries is the ruling step. Now, 9 is the ruling number of Aries. I know Aries think they're number 1, but they actually go on to stage 9th. Okay, and 9 is the point when we all want to just kind of fire it up. And I've noticed this in all my spiritual research. Whenever 9s come up, everyone gets fired up. So be careful out there. Think twice before you act, and realize a lot of people are being inspired to act and they haven't thought through it. So you want to, protect yourself extra today. Now, before I dive into today's vibe, I want to throw out there something new on my website. I'm calling for you all to vote where the next Love Fest should be. Love Fest, if you don't know, is a little party I throw in a given city for viewers where I can get together and just talk and unite the light and trade and see what we all are doing on Earth. I've done it in San Francisco, I've done it in Los Angeles, and I have to stay in the LA area for a while for the media development I'm doing right now. So I'll have to fly there. I'm not going to RV, but I'm thinking, where should I go? Come on to my website at soulgarden.tv. You'll see under About, there's Love Fest. You can see you can vote and say, hey, come to my city. And really the city that seems to demonstrate the most enthusiasm, I will fly to in May for my birthday. So I'm just putting that out there right there. Come on down and vote. So looking at today's vibe. Today's vibe is going to be sunny and aggressive. I think today is sunny and quite aggressive. Everyone's going to be out there kind of honking at red lights, you know what I mean? Like right before, or right when it turns green, like, come on, let's go. Energetically, it's because of the sun, really at that step 9 purebred Aries, and the moon in Sag, which is really firing us up about what we believe. So my heart today is ready to act. Let's move on. I'm impatient. I'm so ready for the next day. And that's the energy. You'll probably be kind of anticipating ahead all day long, because that's kind of how it is, especially if you're a grasshopper. It's a day where you get really impatient and want to hop, onto a different blade of grass. The moon is in Sagittarius, and so I'm feeling optimistic, but cautiously optimistic, because the moon is crossing over Saturn today. So it's bittersweet. If we move on to what our heart wants, we're also turning our back on what doesn't work, and we're having to make some decisions in our heart about how we'll have to manage our feelings going onwards. But I'm going to have to manage my feelings if I'm going to do this. I'm opening to crossing the bridge. Venus is at step 21 Pisces, and I'm opening to finding where my soul really loves and what really will enjoy. I'm looking for my spiritual ecstasy, to borrow a term from one of my friends. And I'm thinking about peace. I'm thinking about harmony. I'm thinking about heartfelt intentions, maybe even poetry. I'm opening up to love. It's true spring. It's true fertility. And really, it is Mercury at step 15 Aries. Step 15 Aries adds to a 6, so it puts a beautiful, romantic kind of mute, Venus-Mars balance to the spring energy. So there's a little bit of fertility there too. Wonka, wonka. I am ready to bounce off of anybody and anything that believes in the same thing. I am ready to receive what I believe in. Now I am ready to see the next step before me. That's Mars at step 6 Sagittarius. So we're ready now to receive. And finally, I am healing today, which is Chiron, my fears of being out of this world experiences. I'm healing my fears of what happens when I surrender to Holy Spirit. I'm healing my worries of reality getting out of control. It is now time to heal and trust what happens when my feelings and someone else's feelings mix together, and not panic that it'll be a control thing or lead me down the wrong temptation. It's a healing of that point. So today your joy quest, should you choose to accept it, is to act on whatever is left standing. Remember yesterday we were saying eliminate what's not going to work? Well, today, act on what's standing. Take everything up just an inch, just a mile, just move it just a little bit, just to show the universe, oh, I plan to use this. Put everything into a little ego action. Give everything you care about a little attention. If you want to use my soul garden reference, go water your soul garden. Okay? This is really the start of the season, so gentlemen, start your engines. It is time now to race ahead. And I think you're going to find the human race not walking, but definitely walking briskly now. All right. So today we're moving on to the 11 steps of serious joy. Yesterday I talked about I believe step 3. And today we talk about that quantum step, I belong. This is the one step the human walk does not get too well. It's also the step of Aquarius. And I'll be talking about how it works. It also kind of goes in with the healing step I was talking about today. Chiron is doing a little healing of our step 4. Of our soul going quantum. So without further ado, let's take the 11 steps quantum. Hello friend, and welcome to the next edition of the 11 steps to serious joy. Today we're going to talk about step 4, which is I belong. And the theory here, or what I've found to be true in my research and when I'm publishing and writing about my book, is that the signs, the astrology signs as we know them, don't really go in the order of Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo if you're going to manifest reality. If you're going to manifest reality, they go in a different order. This order, in my opinion, is the 11 steps of serious joy of how consciousness naturally unfolds into consciousness. So far, we've talked about I protect step 0, I love step 1, I feel step 2, and yesterday, or in the last webisode, I believe. So when you are protecting something and you love it and you feel it and you are starting to believe it and your belief now kind of gets casted, the next thing that happens is once you believe it, you know where it belongs. Okay? Belonging. Now belonging is Aquarius or step 4 consciousness. And belonging is a term I came up with to describe this consciousness because I think human beings don't have a good description for it other than the law of attraction. Where things belong is based on the law of attraction. In this reality, what you love, what you feel, and what you believe determines where you belong. So if you love, feel, and believe that that you should eat granola every day, you belong in Seattle. You know what I mean? If there, and that's how it works. So mankind wants to argue with the I belong. They want to argue with where they belong or where mankind says they belong. And instead they're not facing, well, you're obviously protecting, loving, feeling, and believing in these things, so you must belong here. Don't want to be there? Well, then undo this spiritual charge of protect, love, feel, believe, because that is the charge that gets you to belong. So really, manifestation is from what we love to where it belongs. That's it. We are just slingshotting. Whoosh, whoosh, we charge our heart and reality comes. We charge our heart, whoosh, reality comes. Because we end up going where we belong. Now, sometimes we're shocked to see where we belong because we're like, what? I belong here? We must not be in touch with your feelings. You must not be in touch with your beliefs. I mean, if the client is not in touch with the first 0 through 4 steps, sometimes I belong can be quite a shock. Quite a shock, right? But this architecture goes on in life. So you can't know where you belong if you haven't protected what's sacred, if you don't know what you love, if you don't feel it, if you don't believe it. If those steps aren't done, don't expect to know who you belong with. Don't expect to know where your success is. Don't expect anything to work in the matrix if you haven't done the first 3 steps. This is what I teach over and over again, and this is where humans don't quite get it. They want to skip steps. They want to go to step 5 where they think about it. They want to go to step 9 where they act on it. But they haven't protected, loved, felt, believed, and know where it goes. So you really want God to manifest something without telling God where it belongs? Without having the matrix know where it's going to settle? And this is what I came to realize. When I understood the architecture, I was like, that makes so much sense. Now I know why I'm not manifesting. And it's because I didn't have in the spell where it belonged. I didn't have that conscious step. And it's like you should have a good idea of where you belong before you get started. A very good idea of where you belong. You could be wrong when you get there. Different story. That's step 13. Oh, shit, I was wrong. Okay, different story. We'll get there one of these days. We'll move on to step 12 and beyond. But there are all the steps to 29, frankly, and they all have a story. But these first 11 are the ones human beings don't get. You got to go. Now, there's basically, just like all, 3 dimensions of belonging. These are based on the 3 decans or the 3 acts, and basically the steps going up. So belonging is based on your Uranus. It is basically where you are hell on wheels. So everyone is a little hell on wheels wherever the edge of where their belonging is, because the edge of your belonging is the most exciting part of life. Your heart wants this, and when it arrives, that moment of, wow, I belong here, that is the most exciting. It's the most electric. It's the most crazy. And it's where you can be totally brilliant and totally a jackass, both. Okay? So if you have Uranus in the first decan, you're still figuring out where you belong inside of yourself. You're still figuring out you know what, I really belong in bed all the time because I love sex, or I really belong in the gym, but I keep denying it. So if your Uranus is early like that, you're still learning how to figure out how to be comfortable and belong in the right skin of your own body. It's okay. You got to do things in steps. The next belonging in the next dimension is, well, where do you belong in the moment? So Uranus in the next dimension is a person who is constantly being at the right place, right time to pull off all sorts of cool dimensional things, or they're the person that's like, you know what, I'm taking this whole conversation higher. That's the person as Uranus in the second decan. They're going to just decide that this environment's going higher because they said so, because they've decided they're doing it. So these are your manifestations, your day-to-day miracle makers, are your Uranus second decan. Your third, Act 3 Uranus people are people that innovate the world. This is where the world gets innovated, the world gets changed, and they have to remember, to be a master in a third decan, you have to get the other 2 decans down. So Act 1, they already know where they belong in themselves. Act 2, they already know how to make miracles in the moment. So they're going to innovate Act 3, life itself. These are your Abraham Lincolns. These are your Steve Jobs, even, who's not an Aquarius, but did a tremendous amount of innovation. So anyone who does some really, really crazy shift has got a high Uranus. They got a lot of Uranus. Right. The interesting thing about Uranus, the interesting thing about I belong, is it's like when you get to where you belong, you'll find that that's where you are totally unique. You'll find where your most unique qualities come out, where you actually belong. This is the old saying of the cheese stands alone. The cheese stands alone. The cheese stands alone. I always thought, what cheese stands alone? I always wondered what that meant as a kid. Why does the cheese stand alone? Poor cheese. You know what I mean? My heart was compassionate to the cheese. But now I understand it. Now, and I found it as a joke to myself. It's when I let myself be who I am and just be who I am completely, at a party, talking astrology, letting it all out, I'm so cheesy. And there comes this point when everyone's looking at me and I'm like, the cheese stands alone. You know what I mean? I get it now. I get the farmer. I get the Dell. All right. So you'll find that when you're in your right belonging, you stand alone. You are cheesy. You're the weird one. And you may even be seen as square. And that's the architecture of I belong. The architecture of I belong is a square, 4 sides. And the thing about belonging is it's so right where it belongs. Everything around it, it has to stay out of your way. You square it off. This is why Aquariuses are assholes about what they believe in. No offense, Aquas. But, any Aquarius is Abraham Lincoln's no, we will keep the union together. I don't care what you think. Everyone's Abraham's an asshole. And he was going to hold together. Rosa Parks wouldn't give up her seat on the bus. One of my favorite examples of an Aquarius. Okay, a lot of people thought she was Oprah Winfrey, Aquarius. We don't have to talk about her, but she's done so much, and when they believe in it, they square off. Okay? And what it is that their beliefs come down to their beliefs inside, and there's a whole other architecture there. So you square off, you become hell on wheels, you become an innovator when you embrace your I belong consciousness. You are resolute, and you have the ability to hold back opposing forces. So, they always say that Aquarius is the innovation energy. What Aquarius is the rock in the stream. The Aquarius goes, F you, I'm staying, and everything has to go around the Aquarius. They actually don't bend or go along with anything. They are who they are 100%. And when you find your step 4, you are the same way. When you believe in something, you know you belong there, you're resolute, you're not going to give up, you're going to hold space. And see, that's it. The square is the beginning of manifesting what you want, because you have to hold back that river, and you have to know resolutely that this is who you are. So I will just say, in the last little closure of this step 4, that the opposite of Aquarius or step 4 or belonging is I love. So it's not I don't belong here, I don't belong there. It's I love this, I belong this. If you don't belong in the right place, if you find you're in the wrong place, if you find you don't feel like you belong, the way you undo it, the way you erase it is you come back in your heart to what you love, and then you will find where it belongs again. Okay? All right, that concludes step 4. And of course, the next step we'll be talking about is step 5, I think. And what's funny is, and this is my little joke to my clients, all these steps, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's been nothing to think about yet. And think about how your smartass wants to think about everything. Not even supposed to think about it till step 5. And we'll talk about that tomorrow. And welcome to today's Zen Den. Let's take 3 breaths, shall we? And connect to spirit. Okay, and I got a very strong message from Spirit, but first let's do an affirmation that will get you through today. I am what I love today. I act on that love today. I am what I love today. I act on that love today. And that is really what the 9th step is. It's a step where we act on it and we become it. When you go and pig out on the chocolate, you are a chocolate lover. At that point, once you do, you are. The line is the same. And once you are, you can do. So to become is to be able to continue and continue and continue until this whole manifestation lights up already. So today I am what I love, and I act on that love today. And so it is, because I said so, I thought so. So let's look at the planets and see what's going on today with our overhead projector. Fun, the sun. The sun is at step 9. Like I said, that is the Grandmaster step of the sign of 9. So we are all dressing to the 9s today. Mercury is at step 15. The important thing there is that as we are jumping, our mind is ahead thinking about peace. Peace is step 6. That means our mind, step 5, needs to be mindful of our heart. And that's how peace happens. So be grateful as you jump. Bow your head as you jump. And be open to what you might receive. We'll talk about this, but Mercury's heading for Uranus, which means we're going to get our mind blown here in the next couple of days. Mind blown meaning, holy shift, I had no idea. Yeah, we know, because you're operating down here. Okay, so we're going to get past that. Now looking at the moon. Why so serious? Well, we're serious because of Saturn. Sirius Saturn is serious at step 16. In other words, getting real serious about, hey, the beliefs have to flow. I have to be open to it. I have to love what I'm believing. And that adds up to my spirit and my spirit getting what it needs. This is, of course, all around the step 3 I believe notion. And human beings are running out there with new beliefs. Do you believe in social democracy? Do you believe in Trumpism? Whatever you believe in, these are new beliefs cropping up on the horizon. Now today we are feeling that belief. We're all feeling where we are so far. The moon crosses over Saturn in the early degrees of the day, but because the moon and Saturn are making love as the sun rises for us, we feel that seriousness all day. There's a certain serious line with our emotions, and that serious might be, just knowing what it's going to be a long election ahead, that each party seems to think they're both right, and that gets a little serious. It gets a little intense for us too. Now, as far as what Spirit brought up in meditation, I had to ask twice because it was just too convenient. It was Chiron. And I was talking about Chiron yesterday. I'm going to talk about Chiron today. Chiron is the magical degree of step 22. Step 22 is the quantum step. Now, wherever Chiron is basically where we're finally getting it. We're finally bringing our conscience together. Step 22 is the quantum spiritual step. In other words, by you feeling very charged about what you know and what you sense in this first two, you law of attract a situation or a miracle that feels the same way. And together you become a 4. Together you build this block. Together you end up going off into another dimension. 4. That's the other thing about 4s. You can pop in and out of a dimension at that for a particular degree. And considering it's 22 Pisces, which is the highest dimension we have in this reality, and there's a gateway there, this is definitely a gateway. This is a gateway where some people are going to go out of body, some people have near-death experience and come back. And Venus is at step 21, where it starts to get fun. And so basically, if your beliefs are in place, that's the key. If your belief is in place, you'll probably go down some sort of certain path and experience whatever this quantum spiritual shift is. It could be just an ascension moment for you. That's what's coming in from Spirit right now. You just ascend. You just realize you're above a lot of the stuff that you used to think that you were a part of, and you realize you're now looking down on creation. I look down on creation. I was actually out somewhere and I heard that song the other day. It came out on a jukebox. I was like, someone actually chose a Karen Carpenter song. I'm on the top of the world looking down on creation. And now it just came to me just now. Thanks, Karen. So funny. But that's kind of how we're feeling, I think. Once we do that shift, Karen will be up there singing to you, I'm sure. And I think anyone is down for that shift in the next couple of days. Like, what's holding you back, you might say? Well, we're doing preliminary ego work. Okay, we're doing preliminary ego work where our dumbass is insisting on holding on to things that really is just for the dumbass's sake and not for the whole soul's purpose. And so it's when we let go of these that, ba-ding, you can open up the gateways into heaven, literally. Jupiter, speaking of heaven, we're trying to create heaven on earth, and that's actually the only reason why we're exploring heaven in these higher realms is because we're in a Jupiter-Virgo year. Jupiter-Virgo year means the earth radically changes. As you can see with politics, the earth is already radically changed. We also have, of course, beliefs changing at a radical place. By the way, Saturn is now retrograde, so we're going to see the effects of our decisions now for the next 6 months, and you'll have to wait 6 months if you want to change your opinion on things. So basically, if you were a Trump or whatever on Friday, boom, or a Bernie person, boom, the universe basically smacked your back. We're going to move backwards with this. But the point is our ego has just got to believe in it, and then our ego will let go of what it's not supposed to be holding on to, which will allow us to let go of the tether and balloon up higher and have some sort of spiritual epiphany. And then once you have a spiritual epiphany, come back down and construct what your heart thinks the best reality will be, because when Jupiter goes direct, it will be. That was just beautiful, poetic, wasn't it? All right, friends, let's see the shout out. So, for my subscribers, who I'm so grateful for, by the way, love me, my subscribers, and I love helping you grow. Today at 3 o'clock, your eye candy is constructed to help you along with this, and that is, where exactly are you hell on wheels? Where in your life do you execute step 4 with no problem? You probably already know, and it'll probably make you laugh when you read it, but look out for that at 3 o'clock, your local time. And remember, it is birthday call time for the Aries race. Surprise your friend who's an Aries with a birthday call. I'll call your friend for 10 minutes, and we will gab on the phone about their year ahead. Check out under services at soulgarden.tv. All right, my friends, that's all for today. Thank you so much. A pleasure. Thanks to all who leave comments at soulgarden.tv and share their stories with others. And thanks to all who reach out to our fellow viewers, too. I'm loving all of you and grateful for all of you. I'll see you tomorrow with more. Remember, I love you, and live, love, be.